everybody, and welcome to another edition of Proline, coming to you live from a very rainy Las Vegas as we put this down on celluloid. It's not really celluloid, but what the hell. Got to make it sound like it's in the movies, right? It's a mess out here. I'm Dave Cokin. John Cranton is here from Jim Fight Sports. Chip Chirimbes is nowhere near all this week. Chip, you're down. What's the weather like where you are?
Well, we have intermittent rain every day in South Florida. I mean, that's just the way it is. Hot, humid, sticky, and I've suffered the little problems Vegas is having currently for the overall year, but it's not that bad down here right now. Well,
it sucks out here right now, okay? I get this shirt actually got soaked coming out of my house this morning. I have an overhang that where the water seems to pile up, and getting from the house to the car without getting wet was absolutely impossible. So that's the way it goes. All right, anyway, let's talk some football because there's a lot of really good things to talk about. The first week, I don't know how it was for everybody else. First week, I scuffled a little bit. Last week was why I love preseason football. Love it because the information was out there, and they were basically handing the money out. You had two teams playing dress rehearsal games in week 2, which they usually do for week 3, but they were doing it in week 2 because of a scheduling quirk, and both easy winners. It was just up and down the board. This was why playing preseason is absolutely terrific. Jim Feist, let's start with what Jim did. He hit his NFL total of the year on Saturday. Easy winner with Seattle and Denver going over the total. Other good stuff as well.
Yeah, he loves August football. There's soft numbers with sides and total. Had his preseason total of the year last week. Seahawks Broncos sailed over. It opened 36, went to 40.5, a 30-10 final. Jim got it at 37.5. Most people did get a win. And for good measure, he went 3-1 with the Canadian Football League last weekend, including his top play, his Canadian Football League game of the year Sunday. That was British Columbia, 6.5-point favorite, thrashing Saskatchewan 24-5. And hey, if you missed any of those, this weekend, his biggest game, his 2012 preseason game of the year goes this weekend. He's already picked the game, so you want to get down early before the line moves. It's $100 online, but you can get it for $25 with a guarantee. The guarantee is you will win or get the rest play through September 3rd free in the NFL preseason and the first week of college football. 1-866-841-1655.
Chip, we'll put this in simple numbers. If anybody played your baseball and football last week, just a flat $1 on each game. They're up 9 games for the week. 1 week plus 9. That's right. A lot of money.
Right. Yeah, we did pretty good. We hit 6-1 with our megabuck plays. Dave, we've been saying the preseason is the way to go. You had a great week. I'm 12-3 on the season in NFL action and hitting our game of the year. And now I have my megabuck parlay for NFL preseason action with Major League Baseball this week. It's only $19. If I mess up and don't win this parlay for you, you get the next. As a matter of fact, I'm going to throw in the next 14 days of baseball and NFL action with the $19 purchase. 866-899-9462. Give me a call. Get it all for $19. You'll be glad you did. 866-899-9462. Thanks, Dave. We got more winners coming up this week, that's for sure.
I'm checking my hands. Danita, I'm going to make Danita famous here. Danita made this coffee, and I'm checking my hands to see if the hair's starting to grow now. I mean, this is some strong-ass stuff. Jeez. Wow.
Let me throw you a pass.
Put it on your head, Dave.
Let me give you something else that's strong. Information.
Spill it on your hand and then put it on your head.
You really? You think that'll work? It could be the new minoxidil, right?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Listen, I'll go for anything.
Worth a try.
I'd try it myself.
Yeah, I know. Your forehead's getting kind of high there, buddy.
Is that amazing? The more the Red Sox lose, the longer it gets.
Okay. So last week, let me give you a little rundown on last week. We get Cleveland playing Green Bay to start the week. This is obviously the NFL, and we know Cleveland's playing. And I'm saying we because I'm not the only one. This was not inside information or anything. Cleveland's going to play their regulars into the third quarter. Green Bay, they're barely going to see the field because Cleveland's got Philly coming up in preseason, which is a game this week, and then they're playing Cleveland and Philly open the season against each other. So Well, neither one of them wants to show anything this week when they play one another, so they made their dress rehearsal game last week. So I got a big play on the Browns. Love the Lions because the information on them was real simple. Jim Schwartz was ticked off about everything coming out of the first game. He was really unhappy, and he said so. And so we're going to be some changes. Well, there's a game you want to be on, and we knew the Ravens were doing a lot of evaluation, even though they were going to play their regulars for a while. Not a real big game plan going in. Huge advantage for Detroit. Used that for my game of the year in preseason. And then Monday night, we've got the back end of this dress rehearsal deal with Philadelphia playing New England. You got the Eagles who had, Vic got hurt. Nothing you can do about that. But you got the regulars out there into the first three quarters. The Patriots don't even start 9 of their regulars. They don't even play. So, 2 completely different mindsets. Easy winner with the Eagles. There's no rocket science to this preseason stuff. You just take advantage of it. There's a game this week where, based on the information, we're going to have a wide-open football game. It's that simple. The coaches are going to limp the horses out of the corral for this one. And to me, it looks like a cinch over. I'm going to make this my preseason game of the year. Preseason total of the year, excuse me. Preseason game of the year has now won 8 years in a row. Preseason total of the year, it's going to be $99 online, just like the game of the year was last week. You can get it for $25, and you call my office with a guarantee. You win, or you play college and pro through Labor Day, September 1st, completely free of charge. To get that offer, you just call 1-866-896-1629. 1-866-896-1629. And I think it'll be just as easy a winner as the game of the year winner. So, that's that stuff. Now, before we get to, we're going to have a Twitter question of the week in a little bit. We're going to preview the NFC North. But what do you say let's look at a game? We've got a Week 3 matchup here. The 49ers playing the Broncos. Jim Harbaugh taking his team into Denver to face John Fox. Broncos did not have a real good week, John, this past week. They didn't play very well against Seattle. We'll see what that means as they take the field this week against San Francisco.
Yeah, I'm going to take a look at the total in this game. The odds makers actually have been moved it up, but I'm going to be a contrarian here and look under the total. Last week I gave you the Lions-Ravens under. That was one of the few unders that we did see in preseason. And I'm going to look at this one because what you have is a classic contrast in styles. You got the 49ers, classic under team, power running game, power defense. They're already 2-0 under the total this preseason. And then you got the Broncos with a high-flying passing offense. They're 2-0 over the total with some defensive weaknesses. But I would lean toward the 49ers controlling the tempo here. One reason is Peyton Manning, you really want to risk him with his 4 neck injuries behind what is a suspect offensive line last year. They made some changes for this season, and even recently they lost guard Chris Cupper with he broke one of his left forearms, so he's out. They have some more shuffling going on. And then who's going to control the tempo? 49ers have the great defense, great pass rush, and then on offense, the 49ers very conservative. They had some injuries to their running backs last week in James and Jacobs, and I can see them going slow ball control. And then the backup quarterbacks behind Manning, Haney, Osweiler, and Weber, not very good. John Harbaugh in preseason 5-1 under the total. Don't agree with the line movement here. I say Broncos, 49ers under the total this weekend.
I'm looking the same way. And part of the reason, you just hit on it, the offensive level of the backups just isn't very good. Kaepernick he's still making bad throws. He hasn't advanced as much as I thought he would. There was a get-together in Las Vegas this summer. It was the Mountain West Conference Media Day, and I was talking with Chris Ault, who was Kaepernick's coach at Reno, University of Nevada in Reno, and we would say, boy, he should really take a step forward this year. Well, it hasn't. He's got all the tools. Hasn't happened yet. So I can't really say he's going to get in there and do a great job here. He's making mistakes. Same thing on the Broncos side. Their backup quarterbacks, Caleb Haney, Osweiler, I guess Weber's still there. It's just not an impressive group, and I don't know that you're going to see the kitchen sink thrown in offensively for either team, even with the starters on the field. So to me, this looks like a game that's going to move along fairly rapidly. It's a dress rehearsal but I'm not sure that either coach is putting all that much into it, not based on what I'm hearing to this point. So I like the game to be low scoring as well. 2 votes for the under. Chipper, what do you do with it?
Well, I see why you guys are going there, and I agree with you 100%. But I think Harbaugh and the 49ers have a little bit more they want to establish here. I'll take a side on this one. I'll take San Francisco. I think they're going to win this game. I think Denver just wants to get Peyton Manning to the opener. They want to keep him healthy, and I think the Niners will be in more urgency after failing last week. And I don't think Harbaugh is the type that goes lightly, losing 2 in a row, whether it be preseason or regular season. I think there's going to be a tougher mindset coming out of San Francisco.
There's another reason to follow Jim Fice Sports, and if you got a question or a comment, tweet it. If we use your question on the show, you're put in a drawing to win $100 worth of plays from the handicapper of your choice. This is from Greg Ellsworth, Madison, Wisconsin. Who will take the black and blue division, the always rugged NFC North? Well, let's do an NFC North preview to answer that question. And Packers, Lions, Bears to look at. I don't think anybody's picking the Vikings to win the division, so we'll focus on the teams that we think have a chance to win the division. Chip, the powerful Green Bay Packers, what do you think?
Well, I think all 3 of them have a decent chance. If Lions could mature, they can emerge there, of course, and the Bears are always a threat. I have to love the speed of the Packers. Their defense is woeful, though. They certainly are going to need some help. 19 serious injuries already during the preseason. Really decimated defensively, and to a defensive team that struggled to start with. They're going to have to put points on the board. When it comes to the end, there's so many different factors. I think Green Bay's tough defensively to negotiate because Aaron Rodgers is so accurate, and if they can get any kind of running game, I think they come out of the North.
Well, the running game has a lot to do with what I don't know about the Detroit Lions. Look, I know they can throw the ball. They had 4th in the NFL last year, 300 yards per game. Stafford throws for over 5,000. Calvin Johnson, Megatron's the best receiver in the league. Nothing wrong with Pettigrew. Ryan Broyles is a real nice ad. But the offensive line is still a little shaky. The running game, I don't know. I mean, somebody's got to emerge from this rubble. Obviously, they would have liked to have been best. I don't know that you can. Who knows what his status is at this point? Personally, apparently the family doesn't want him to play. He wants to play. Doesn't sound like a great situation. The defense, Governor Cunningham is a great defensive coordinator. This is coming from people in the league. I don't know. I mean, how do I know? I've never played, so I can only go on what people say and the results. Governor he's had a lot of good defenses over the years. He didn't really have one last year, though. And I don't know that he's going to have a much better one this year. They've got to get some guys to step up. Sue was completely over. He's let's call it straight. He sucked last year, okay? He overcommits himself on a regular basis, overpursues plays, and he was very beatable. They've got to get more discipline on defense, or this team is going to look great at times and be very exciting and not do anything of note. Maybe get to the playoffs, but that's about it. There's not a lot of depth to me on either side of the football as far as the trenches are concerned, and these, unless you get lucky, these are injuries that mount up over the season. Here's what I think of the Lions. I think they're going to be in a lot of high-scoring football games again. I think they'll win their share. I think this is clearly a winning football team. The over and under on them, 9.5 wins. I think they've got a good chance to be maybe at 10, but I just don't see them taking the next step until certain things in the depth chart and some discipline issues are cleared up. That's a big thing for me. The fact that this team had so many off-season problems, which were clearly lack of discipline problems. If you can't be disciplined in your personal life, how can you be disciplined on the football field where there is absolutely a connection? So I think the talent's there. I'm not sure the mindset is. If I had to make a bet on 9.5 wins, I go under the total because I think Green Bay is better. And I think the team that John's going to talk about in a minute, the Bears, are better as well. I think the Lions will finish third in the NFC North. John, let's talk about, I will tell you, my pick to win the division is the Bears. I really like this football team. What do you think of them?
You know, you might say they're a bit of a sleeper team, just 500 record last year, but that's very misleading. I mean, if you recall, they started the season 7-3. They were one of the best teams in the NFC, and then just bad luck happened. Injuries, the biggest one with Jay Cutler, and the offense really just slowed to a crawl. They couldn't do anything. But they have Cutler back healthy now, and what they did with the wide receiver core is fascinating. The last couple of years, they've been bringing in guys like Devin Hester and Earl Bennett and Johnny Knox. Well, for this season, they went out and got a legitimate number one receiver in Brandon Marshall from the Dolphins. So that's a domino effect. You get Marshall now, a legitimate number one, and all these other guys can drop down to the number 2, 3 in slot roles. Plus, they got Alshon Jeffrey. He's a rookie from South Carolina, 6'4". So now you have a talented, deep, and tall wide receiving core. Last year, the Bears were not very good in the red zone. I got to believe the talent and height is really going to help them improve that department. One weak spot on offense would be the offensive line. They've been juggling that a lot in preseason. And what happened is last year they had Mike Martz, who was a pass-happy guy. Well, they got rid of him. Mike Tice is now the offensive coordinator looking for more balance. And the defensive side of the ball, very good against the run last year. Number 5. Have some new faces in the secondary. That's really the key to this D, 28th against the pass. And most people probably think of the Bears as a great pass-rushing teams when you got guys like Briggs, Urlacher, and Julius Peppers. They really weren't last year. They had 33 total sacks, roughly 2 per game. And to put that in perspective, they allowed 49 sacks on offense, 23 to Cutler. But still, you have to stop the run first. The Bears can do it. I think the pass rush will be improved, especially if this secondary comes together. But this is a team that is better than the 8-8 they were last year, as long as Cutler stays healthy.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, again, it's just a preseason game. I'm not going to overreact to it. But you saw Chicago, and they needed a 57-yard field goal with a few seconds left from gold to beat the Redskins. That was the one loser I had last week by a half point. But the fact is, I actually was on the wrong side in the game with the Redskins. The Bears' first team beat the crap out of the Redskins in that game. I mean, they were impressive. And there's just a mindset that I really like with that football team. I don't know that they're better than Green Bay, but I think Green Bay had almost a perfect regular season last year, literally. Everything went right, and I don't know that it will. You know, those things don't work that way in the NFL. It's tough to do that 2 years in a row. So, my predicted order of finish in the division, I'm going to say we've all got the Vikings last. That's my guess. I'm going to go with the Bears. I'm going to buy into the hype. Bears, Packers, both in the playoffs. Lions third, a little bit of a disappointment. Chip, what's your order of finish?
You and I will flip number 1 and 3. I'll go Lions, Packers, and Bears.
Ooh, okay.
I'm going to go with the Packers first, and then the Bears as a wild card team, and the Lions defense, particularly that secondary, disappoints and finishes third.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, they're all good teams though. And Vikings, well, they're not. Let's recap what we've got. I'm going to start with myself here. Hit my game of the year for the 8th straight year, preseason game of the year, obviously. So it was an exceptional week last week. Ahead really nicely now for preseason through 2 weeks. Preseason total of the year will go this week. The matchup information indicates that we're going to see kind of a freewheeling. One of the games is going to be kind of freewheeling. Lots of offense, so it's going to be an over. I'm going to give you that much information at least. Online, day of the game, $99. If you take advantage of the special offer, this is just like last week. It's the exact same offer. $25. Plus, I will guarantee it. You got to win, or you get free action plays in football through Labor Day. So that'll include the first week of college as well. That'll be free. So take advantage of this. Call in right now, 1-866-896-1629. It's only $25, and I think it's going to be an easy winner. Chip, monster week last week again, and the Megabuck plays continue to dominate. You're off to a huge start in preseason. Big stuff in store this weekend.
Thanks, Dave. It's been an incredible preseason so far. Hit our first 7 releases, now 12-3 on the NFL preseason campaign. Won our game of the year last week with St. Louis over Kansas City, and I have more of the same in store for you this week. 6-1 with Megabuck winners last week. Get my Megabuck parlay of the year with NFL preseason action and Major League Baseball for $19. I'll include 2 weeks of baseball and preseason action for $19. Give me a call right now, 866-841-1665. That's it. You got it. That's the number to call, 866-841-1665. $19. Megabuck winners, 6-1 last week, 12-3 in the NFL already this preseason, and 17-5 overall, both sports combined. Give me a call, $19. You'll be glad you did.
Hopefully those of you watching took advantage of Jim Feist's NFL preseason total of the year last weekend, and if you did, you probably were in on the CFL game of the year, which was an easy winner as well, 24-5. That's a blowout. Another big win coming up this weekend for Jim Feist. It's his NFL preseason game of the year, and John, it comes with a really good guarantee.
Yeah, it sure does. By coincidence, he had 2 games of the year last week. Hit them both. If he missed out on those, his top play of the entire preseason game of the year goes this weekend. He's already got it. It's scheduled for Friday. $25 with a guarantee. You will win a playthrough Labor Day, college and pro football. 1-866-841-1655.
That's it. We're done. Hope everybody enjoyed it. We have one more week of preseason football after this. And then the real stuff. Actually, next week we've got real college football to talk about. So when we come back next week, we'll be looking at actual college football games that not only you can bet on, but that will be for real. And of course, the tough thing is in those games, the coaches won't be giving away the game plans in advance of the games like they do this week in pro football. But we're going to have some good opportunities to get out there and make some money. There's been some big line movement in these college games already. So it's an exciting time of year out here in Las Vegas and wherever football is bet on, which is like everywhere in the country. So make sure and join us again for another edition of Proline next week. For Jim Feist, for Chip Chirimbes, for John Cranton, I'm Dave Cokin. Thank you for watching. Win some money this weekend, guys. We'll talk to you next week.